Shout out Sniper T on the beat.
Tamara to the break of dawn is on the rise, with life on the forefront of the mind. So line for line, you can ride this brain train and you can change your station without even touching the dial. So relax, stay a little bit, but listen for a while. And whether you're bumping this in the whip or in a business fit, it's a meeting you won't want to miss. A meeting for a meal to feed the soul with words for the mind. So sit back, enjoy the ride. Time to take off, it's time to fly. Cause Tamara till the break of dawn is on the rise.
Hey. Welcome to the show, y'all. Yes. To all my new listeners, thank you much. Thank you much. But yeah, thank you. But thank you so much for tuning in to all my day 1, 2, 97, 145, 253, 260, right? Whatever week you came in and you just decided to keep on keeping on with the keeping on. Like, shout out, y'all. Man, I have really been, first of all, I'm in a great mood right now, which is super exciting because it has been a very emotional few weeks as I've just kind of processed through different things. And as I said last week, just really kind of sorted through some grief feelings and all of that, right? And one of the things that I've really been thinking about, especially lately, is just how blessed I am with the community that I have had, specifically the community of people that have really, when the girls were younger, after their dad died, really stepped up and the village was villaging, you feel me? One of my Facebook memories that came up was when Janae was graduating from the 6th grade. So that was 9 years ago. And all the people in the picture, that was our village, right? And so many people showed up for a 6th grade graduation because they knew that it was important to her. They were screaming, they were yelling. We was not supposed to be that loud. Mind you, it's 6th grade. She had the loudest cheering section or whatever. And it really made me just start thinking about how fortunate I have been in that regard, that when their dad died, when I was already a single parent because we had split up, but like when the weight of parenting them was 100% on me, because with Devon, he's always had his dad in his life and he lived with his dad and, would go back and forth between our houses, but he lived with his dad. And so that was a little bit different. But with the girls, it's been just me for the past almost 10 years. And so, man, community is so important. And I think about, the different things that I've even navigated with grief and stuff in the past almost a year since my dad died. And even just some of the things that I went through prior to that, to where the community of people that I am very fortunate to have in my life, how they've been such a support to me. I actually just got off the phone with someone who's like my mom, and we talked for a while, like probably a couple hours by the time it was all said and done, just kind of catching up. It's the family that I lived with for a while, and we don't live together. I still see them, don't see them as much, obviously, because we don't live together. And then we're also usually at different campuses unless I'm at the campus that they're at. And so there was just things in my life that I wanted to catch her up on, and things that I didn't know was going on in their life. And so just this beautiful catch up session. But she is someone who's been a constant in my life for like the past over a decade. That's why she's my mom, right? It's wild because they're younger than me, but hey, that don't matter when you have just certain role in someone's life. And so, yeah, it was just a really good conversation. And it just makes me really, really grateful that I have the community that I have. And that's really what I wanted to talk about today, is just like the importance of community, right? But then also the importance of, after you've had a season where maybe you didn't have the best relational dynamics with the community that you were in, or maybe just a certain person or a few people or whatever, when you come to a point in your life where you have healthy community around you, nobody talks about how difficult it is to retrain your brain to be able to accept love and acceptance and support from people. I really used to struggle with that when it first, like the community that I'm a part of now, where I work and all of that, but it's my church, but I wasn't as involved and as immersed in it as I am now. And so I've had different communities in my life, but man, the community that I'm a part of now, especially when you even just factor in the people that just go to the church, that just know who I am from whatever reason. A lot of people see me at photo booths, or we have this Self-Ed 365 thing. So people will see me do videos on that. And the first year, I did a lot of videos because I'm the project owner, and I would just make sure that a video went out every day. So if that meant I had to record multiple videos, which I did because, for whatever reason, we didn't get one. So people kind of got used to seeing my face in that way. And so that's how different people would know who I am, Nevertheless, I am very fortunate to be involved in such a beautiful community of people who are like super supportive, genuinely care, whatever. But like I said, nobody talks about how difficult it is to rewire your brain after you've had either different traumatic, intimate relationships, or maybe you just didn't have the best friends at all at first or whatever. It could be either or. And that stuff will break you down, and that stuff will make you question your worth. And so then when you start being around people, I had this conversation with someone recently where people when you start being around people who actually genuinely legit care, it feels weird and it feels foreign, and you almost don't want to, you almost feel like, okay, how long is this going to last before it switches up? Or you're like, oh, well, no, you don't got to do all that because you don't want to be requiring too much, because you don't want to feel like a burden, because then you feel like, oh, maybe people will get tired or whatever. But when you have people who genuinely love you, who genuinely whatever, man, let them people love you. I know it's difficult. I know from personal experience, it is difficult to let people in after you've been so closed off for so long and you've had so many walls up. But the crazy thing is, especially for those of us who are trying to have a relationship with the Lord, which I do have one. And so for those of us who that's important, when you have these walls up, you're not just putting walls up with people, you're ultimately putting walls up with God, because a big way that you experience God is God moving through his people, right? Like, I have never experienced where God manifested physically in this, human form or whatever, the things that you read about in the Bible. I have not experienced that. I've experienced God like within myself for sure, like peace and in my quiet time with him and all that stuff. But then I've also experienced him through his people in the ways that they've loved me. And yeah, it's through his people, but it's him through his people. And it's a lot of times things that only he knows that I needed or was important to me or whatever. And so when we have these walls up, we're not just putting walls up with the people around us. And we think we're doing it. Trust me, I get it, from a self-protective standpoint. But ultimately, you're blocking your blessings and you're blocking God being able to move in your life. And it's difficult and it's awkward and it's uncomfortable and it feels messy. And then sometimes stuff bubbles up in your heart to where you're like, I still have this pain from before that I actually still need to let go of. And that's why it's difficult to navigate and experience and accept the love that the Lord's trying to give me right now. Trust me, I get it, but you got to go through that process. You have to be willing to do that, because yes, there may be crying. I had days of that. Yes, there may be pain. Yes, there may be frustration, anger, or whatever. But as you go through that process, there's freedom on the other side of that. And I'm so grateful for the relationships that I have in my life. And I'm grateful for the me that I get to present to them now too, right? Because there's been different versions of me depending on how wounded or whatever I was. but it's a process, and it's been a process that it's going to be a continual process as long as I'm alive and breathing, because we don't ever really fully arrive, right? But it's so worth it. Like, the tears are worth it. The admitting to myself my fault and my flaws and the toxic ways that I've operated, all of that is worth it, because there's freedom, and life is so... I love life when I get to like be around the people that I genuinely enjoy being around, and we're just laughing. Like, we don't even have to be doing nothing. We could be sitting there just in our each other's presence, laughing, talking. It doesn't have to be this whole, all this stuff is going on, the quiet moments, right? I love things like sitting and listening to the rain. If I could do that with somebody that I genuinely enjoy being around, and we're just sitting, talking, laughing, whatever, because it's always going to be laughter because I'm me and I love to laugh, right? But if we, can do that, I'm good with that. It don't have to be nothing else. And I love, like, life just feels so much more full. I feel like it feels so much more, there's so much more joy that you get to experience, even sharing in other people's joy. But the only way you're going to do that is if you let them people love you, right? If you let those people in, if you let those people care for you, if you remember that you are worthy of the love, the affection, the people being concerned about you, people supporting you, like, you are worthy of all that, and you're not too much for the right people. Like, we all have our different little things and all of that, but the right people that are your people are going to see all that. They're going to maybe laugh at that or whatever, not in a mocking way, but it just depends what you're doing, right? But they're never going to make you feel like you need to change unless it's actually something that like legit needs to change because it's hindering you or whatever. But just the things in your personality that make you you, because that's the way the Lord wired you, they're never going to make you feel like that needs to change. And that is such a beautiful thing that I really appreciate about all of the friendships and whatever that I have. And I'm not even just talking about the people that I work with and whatever, but those are the people that I'm around the most. But I'm very fortunate to where I've just been really reflecting on like the community that I've had over the years, the support that I've had with the girls, even the support that they still have. There are people that they are still in relationship with that I know those relationships were established when they were younger. And I'm like, that's so dope that this person is still wanting to invest in their lives. So yeah, community is such a beautiful, beautiful thing. We were not created to do life alone. We shouldn't do life alone. So that is my encouragement to y'all. So that is what I have for y'all this week. Man, make sure you are taking care of yourself mentally. Make sure you are taking care of yourself emotionally. I have had to really take care of myself emotionally these past few weeks, but there's been a lot of crying and a lot of stuff. But like I always say, there's freedom that's on the other side of that. And so much revelation the Lord has given me in my quiet time with him. Make sure you're taking care of yourself spiritually. Make sure you are keeping up those spiritual rhythms that help you stay spiritually healthy. Make sure you are taking care of yourself physically. Sometimes that means you got to just sit. I struggle with that, if I'm honest. I've gotten better at that, I'd say, in like the last year or so, probably maybe more so this year, but I struggle with just sitting and I struggle with rest. And yeah, but that's super important as part of your like being physically healthy, and then be healthy in your relationships. I say all this about, community is a beautiful thing and all that and the other, but if you're not being healthy in your relationships, or I'll just put it on me, if I'm not being healthy in my relationships, community is not going to be a beautiful thing because people are not going to want to be around me. You know what I mean? So yeah, that is my encouragement to y'all this week. Thank you so much for tuning in. I love y'all so much, and I will talk to y'all soon. Bye.
Ladies and gents, this concludes transmission. Tune in next time for a whole new edition. Another adventure and mission to share, be heard, and clarify the vision of this whole new world for...